This is Neil Ratner Rock Talk here on WDST Radio Woodstock with another episode of This Week in Rock with support from Transcend Dental and my friend, the amazing dentist and rock star Bruce Milner. Visit Transcend Dental, his stunning new office at 2 Maverick Road on the corner of Maverick Road and Route 375. On October 30th, Grace Slick turned 85 years old. Initially performing with the band Great Society, Slick achieved fame as the lead singer and frontwoman of Jefferson Airplane and the subsequent spin-off bands Jefferson Starship and Starship. In August 1965, Slick read an article in the San Francisco Chronicle about the newly formed band Jefferson Airplane. After seeing the group play at a local club, Grace and her husband Jerry Slick formed the band Great Society. Soon after, Grace wrote the song White Rabbit. She was on an acid trip, listening to Miles Davis' album Sketches of Spain, and wrote the lyrics first, then composed the music on a cheap upright piano, missing some keys, that she had bought for $50. When Sieg Tall Anderson left the Jefferson Airplane in 1966, Jack Cassidy asked Slick to join. Grace said yes because it was run in a professional manner, unlike the Great Society. With Slick on board, Jefferson Airplane began recording music in a more psychedelic direction, and Slick's song White Rabbit was perfect. Surrealistic Pillow was Jefferson Airplane's first album with Grace, and Slick became a cover girl for the sex, drugs, and rock and roll generation. Grace had gone to the same school as Tricia Nixon, and in 1969, she and Tricia's other classmates were invited to the White House.
Yeah, well, I was invited to the White House by Tricia Nixon. She asked everybody in Finch College who had gone there, which I had for a year, to come to a tea at the White House. And when I got the invitation, I cracked up because it was to Grace Wing, which is my maiden name. So they had no idea who they were sending it to. We went, and we were standing in line in front of the White House waiting to go in, and a security guard came up to me and said, "I'm sorry, you can't go in." And I said, "What do you mean? I have an invitation." He said, "No, you're on the FBI list." I guess for lyrics. I, to this day, don't know. The whole band was on the FBI list. And I went, "Oh, well, I guess that that takes care of that." But I was fully ready to dose him with a whole bunch of LSD. I know what a formal tea is. And you stand, you don't sit, really. And you're holding your teacup. And I'm an entertainer, and I can gesture. And I had a long fingernail. So I stuffed about 600 micrograms of acid under that fingernail. It was in my pocket, in the bottom of my pocket. And you'd wave it over his tea, and it's tasteless. So he wouldn't have known what hit him for about 35 minutes. And then just the idea of thinking about him walking around the White House saying stuff that's just way off the wall, and maybe curling up in a corner and going like this, you know? Just the idea of that amused me.
The lyrics of the song White Rabbit were based on Lewis Carroll's book Alice in Wonderland. Slick saw a wealth of drug references in Carroll's book and noticed that many children's stories involve a substance of some kind that alters reality, and felt it was time to write a song about it. Okay, let's listen. Jefferson Airplane and White Rabbit.